Hey, Kevin Simpson here, and you're watching S&G TV, the place to be for the dreamer, go-getter, and action taker. Today's guest is Amanda Bayerle. Amanda is a thriving entrepreneur. She's the founder of The True Challenge. She specializes in the health coaching for busy working professionals who want to get in the best shape of their life and stay that way. Amanda, welcome to S&G TV.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Yeah, so let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur. How did you get started? What was it that made you want to become an entrepreneur?
Well, as many entrepreneurs, we kind of discover that we are when we're older, but we start doing entrepreneurial things when we're young. So, growing up, I pretty much did everything to make some extra money. When I was like 7 years old, I had my own paper route. I lived in Ohio, and I know you're from, the East Coast as
Yep.
well. So, it snowed a lot there. So I would go around and, ask people if I could shovel their driveways for money. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And it kind of progressed over the years. I started a couple businesses and got into network marketing, which taught you a lot about business and personal development, and then transition into what we're doing today. So it's been, kind of like my whole life, discovering that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I decided to not go the normal route of going to college. I actually went to ministry school and got married at 18. So a
Wow.
little conventional. And yeah, so me and my husband now, he runs a separate business, and, it's been an amazing journey. I just love, that I discovered what an entrepreneur really was at a young age.
Cool. So I know for me, I don't even think I knew what the term entrepreneur was until it was probably my junior or senior year in college. That may sound crazy, but where I'm from on the East Coast, it's like go to college and land a good job. I didn't know what the term entrepreneur was or meant or anything like that. So that's pretty cool that you were diving into those adventures at such an early age. And on top of that, you didn't have to worry about college and getting into student loan debt and all that crazy bad stuff that a lot of people are like dealing with right now. So let's talk a little bit about your story and how you got started with your current business right now.
Well, growing up, I grew up in Ohio and grew up very unhealthy. Ate. I was at the grocery store the other night and I was looking at the unhealthy section, and it was like zebra cakes, oatmeal pies, all these horrible things, little Debbie snacks, and that's what I grew up on. And so I was super unhealthy, and so when I got introduced to California and the whole healthy lifestyle that Californians lived, I was like, wow, what is this? And I wanted that because I was uncomfortable in my body. I was insecure, and I didn't know how to change it. What healthy was besides Weight Watchers and drinking shakes all day long, and
Yeah.
that food doesn't taste good, diet food. So I didn't really know what a healthy lifestyle looked like. So my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, he and his friend basically took me under their wing and helped me, really live a healthy lifestyle, and took me to the gym, made me meal plans, coached me. And so I went from a size 6 to a size 2.
Mm.
And that just completely changed my life. My confidence grew. I really became who I was supposed to be. So ever since then, I have been really into helping others do the same thing. And as I started a couple businesses and got into network marketing, I realized that handling a business and also living a healthy lifestyle go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And for a lot of business owners, we get into a rut of always working, and putting off our health and putting it on the back burner. And so that kind of got me into what I'm doing today of really coaching business owners and working professionals on how they can have both and how they coincide together, how having your health as a priority impacts your business. So that's how I got started, really getting into the niche of health coaching entrepreneurs and showing them that you can have both and you don't have to sacrifice one thing for another. I mean, it goes with everything in your life. If you're lazy in one area and you have that full of excuses, it's going to translate into your business.
Yeah.
So if you're not putting your health as a priority and making that healthy habits, then it's going to translate into your business, and you're going to see the effects of that. So that's how I got started.
So I think that's a great niche, Amanda, that you kind of tapped into. So I know for me personally, when I started Strive and Grind, I was working out 6 days a week, meal prepping, eating, I don't know, 6 meals a day kind of thing. And then as I started working on those profit producing activities and, calling clients and, generating leads and all that kind of stuff that happens around building a business and actually making it a business and not just, a cool brand online or a hobby or anything like that, the more I found myself, stepping away from actually working out. And that's something that I need to mentally get myself prepared back to do because I have allowed the business side of things to really run my physical looks and appearance, my health, my lifestyle, what I'm eating, all that great stuff. So I think for you to focus on that niche in itself, I think that's going to be a huge market for you to tap into. So let's talk a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur and a health coach for entrepreneurs. And what have been some of the challenges that you've had thus far, and how have you kind of overcome that?
Well, for me as an entrepreneur, I grew up as a perfectionist, and everything I did in life, I wanted to be perfect at. So in school, I wanted to be perfect at school. I remember in seventh grade, I got a C on my report card, and I thought life was over. I
Mm,
was like, I'm quitting school. I'm horrible. This is not for me, and I can't do this. So that's how perfectionist I was, and that also went into my volleyball career. I did that for a while. And yeah, so that's what I grew up struggling with. And that, I carried that into business of always being perfect. And, how that looks is never being able to actually take action on what you're doing because you're so concerned about what other people are going to think. Is it perfect? I think I just need to work on it a little bit more. So for entrepreneurs who struggle with perfectionism, it hurts your business because you are always, you're taking so much time trying to get something perfect that you never actually do it because you're so concerned and focused on yourself, on what other people are going to think about you. So I had to overcome that of really just working on myself, and I got the right training so that I was confident in myself. And but also just the screw it, I'm going to publish it, I'm going to do the webinar, I don't care what people think, I'm just going to do my best. And if it's perfect, doing my best is perfect. So there's really no such thing as what is perfect.
love
So
it.
that's how
Cool.
I overcome it.
Okay. And I know that for us too, at Strive and Grind, we've kind of had that syndrome too, that perfect syndrome, and, wanting to make sure the website looks, the right way, or if we're putting this out or that out, it has to be just perfect. Just getting it out there is, that's all you need to do. And maybe once you get it out there, you can, tailor some things and switch things around to give it that look and feel that you wanted to have. But, you could be putting things off for the next month or 2 months or 6 months or year if you're just focusing on how perfect, quote unquote, what you want those things to be. So let's talk a little bit, Amanda, about some of the failures that you probably had on your journey as an entrepreneur.
Well, I mean, we all have setbacks and in our journey, but I wouldn't exactly consider them failures because they have made me into the person that I am today. In network marketing, when I first got started, if you've ever been in a home-based business, you see this person on stage, and they're making 100 grand a month, and a lot of my mentors were, and so that was my ideal. That was like that's what I'm going after. I want to do this, and things kind of changed, and I realized that business model and that dream wasn't really exactly what I wanted to do with my life. And it kind of, those setbacks have made me to the person I am today and kind of catapulted me into, the business that I eventually started. But looking, during the season, it could have seemed like a failure that I wasn't having the success that I thought I would have in that business. But I can't say enough that I'm so thankful that, certain things happen for a reason. And so that's, kind of what brought me to what I'm doing today.
Right. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about mindset because, striving grind mindset is one of those pillars that is such an essential piece to have to make you become successful as an entrepreneur and a business person and things of that nature. So what is your thoughts around, being average or being mediocre? Like, I know for us personally, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are okay being mediocre or average, but let's talk about it from an entrepreneur mindset or somebody who wants to create or start a business.
So, Kevin, I think that for mindset, if you're not growing, you're dying. And so,
Yeah.
for business owners, if you just want to be average, if you just want to get by in business, then essentially your business is dying because it's not growing. It's at a standstill, and it can't just be at a standstill. It's either going up or it's going down. And I see that in a lot of people, in their businesses, they just want to get by, and it's really sad. But even for people who aren't entrepreneurs, maybe they have the dream of, just getting enough money, just having enough money to live in an okay house, or living in having a mediocre marriage, or, my body's okay. I'm not that overweight, but really pushing yourself and challenging yourself to go above and beyond. And like what you always say, like unleash your inner greatness.
Yeah.
If you don't know what's inside of you, how are you truly being the person that you're supposed to be in this world? So I think that for some people, they maybe just want to get a normal job and get by. But I have personally seen from experience that those people are not fulfilled for the most part. They still are, being told what to do. They're not doing what they're meant to do in this life. And again, they're just at a standstill in life, and they're not growing. So I think that the brave thing to do is to challenge yourself and unleash your inner greatness.
Great. So, I mean, I know that, when it comes to doing certain things, we end up getting caught up in like fear. Like, what is that thing that's going to hold me back? And, what are those limiting beliefs that I've had growing up that's really, chained me to where I am right now, to really be able to tap into that inner power that I have to unleash my inner greatness. So talk to us, Amanda, about what are some of those fears that you probably had initially and how you kind of overcome those.
Well, I think for me, as dealing with perfectionism, the fear was, what are people going to think about me? And am I good enough? Am I disappointing people in my decisions? And I realized that I was letting other people control my decisions rather than myself and doing what I wanted to do. So I dealt with that by really believing in myself and having the confidence and surrounding myself with people that believed in me as well. And so, not always concentrating on what are people going to be thinking of me, the fear of man, but rather just surrounding myself with people that believe in me and developing myself to have the confidence in what I'm doing.
Cool. So how have you dealt with those people who, don't support you, or the naysayers and people like that?
Well, Kevin, I was looking over the questions you sent me, and I love this one because this past week I actually had to deal with that. And I don't really have to deal with that often because I surround myself with really positive people.
Hmm.
So I was at a networking event, and this woman looked at me and she was like, "Oh, so what college did you go to?" And I was like, "Well, actually, I didn't go to college." And she was like, "What?"
Oh,
And I mean,
wow.
she was just like so offended by me that I didn't end up going to a 4-year degree and then going on to my master's and then getting my PhD. And instead I chose to go the different route, and I got married at, 18, and went to ministry school and traveled the world and started my own business. And, she was really offended by that. And she just made me feel really bad that she was like, "Wow, well," and she told my mom, "Well, you must have really confidence in your daughter."
Wow.
Really like smart alecky. And I'm like, wow, I'm so glad you said that to me because that really, fired me up to want to prove her wrong, to let her know that for the people who say that you need to go to college to be successful, just to prove them wrong and say, no, like I can do this, and I'm gonna show you how I will.
And that's such a horrible belief too. I mean, all these limiting beliefs just, setting people's mindset to think a certain way. And even from an entrepreneurship perspective, today's most wealthiest people were college dropouts.
Yeah.
So for me, it just doesn't make sense. And, that's shame on, her part or whatnot. But I'm sorry you had to deal with that. But I think it's important for us to all go through those experiences because we can't please everybody, and we have to kind of kill them with kindness, if you will. So yeah, that's crazy. So let's talk a little bit about, what do you think for someone to be successful in business, what is something from a mindset perspective that they have to be successful?
From a mindset perspective,
Yes.
I would say confidence and really believing in what you're doing and being focused, because when you're confident in yourself, you're focused on what you're doing. And so I would say you need to be confident in what you're doing and focused on, the goal that you have, whether it's your business or doing, some other type of work, but really knowing that you're supposed to be doing that, and just really, you know, people want to buy from people that are confident. And so if you are confident in yourself and you have that right mindset, that positive mindset, then you're not going to let other people sway you off your road to success.
Right. So passion is something that, I believe is extremely important to being successful. I mean, some people say, you don't have to be passionate about what you do. Or, matter of fact, people think that you only have to be passionate about what you do, but there's so many other factors into how passion plays a part into what it is that we're doing. So talk to us a little bit about what your number one why is for doing what you do.
Well, Kevin, I would say my number one why is my future family and just my family for right now. The business that I do, the True Challenge, it's like a whole family type business, and we're all included in it, and we all do it together. And for me, I would say it's my family because, I want to be able to give back to them. I want to be able to have the time freedom. I want to be able to, make a really big impact. And, that's what motivates me. I want, for our future kids, I want to be able to give them lots of things and spend as much time and travel the world and, really be able to live the life of my dreams. So I would say my number one why is my family. And that's kept me going when it's hard, because I know I'm not just doing it for myself. And I know that what I'm doing is going to impact a lot of people. So, when struggles come up, it doesn't really hinder me, because I know that, I am 21, so I have time. If I fail or something, I have time to do it, and really be able to be there for my kids when I do have them.
Okay, so how are you able to turn, your passion into a life of purpose? That's purpose is something that, whether you're an entrepreneur or just anybody just living today, a regular human being, we struggle with coming up with what our purpose is and actually living an epic life full of purpose. So how are you able to turn that passion of yours into a life of purpose?
Well, going back to my story of what I shared earlier about, my health story of going from, overweight, insecure, didn't feel good about myself, to now, being confident, feeling healthy, having energy. And that story right there and how it impacted me was life changing.
Yeah.
So from that experience, I became really passionate about other people having that as well. And, that kind of led me into my business today and helping other people do the same thing. And that brings me purpose in my life, to know that I help people, really discover their full potential by living a healthy lifestyle, and how that completely changed their life. I can't tell you how many testimonials and stories that people have told me, which, I was just doing what I like to do, and in reality, it completely changed their life. So when
Wow.
you're doing what you're supposed to do, you'll change so many more lives than just trying to find the right business model and make money, or, whatever that looks like to you, but really finding what you're passionate about and giving that gift to the world.
Love it, love it. So, let's talk about your hustle. Let's talk about your grind. What is a typical day like for you? How are you, what are you doing right now to get your business to the next level?
Well, I don't really have a typical day.
Yeah.
My days always change, but I have a certain schedule that I do every single day, and that includes 5 things. So I kind of name my top 5 things that I'm going to do every single day, no matter what. No
Okay.
matter if it's a weekend, no matter if it's vacation, whatever it may be, but just 5 daily habits that will increase my business. And that's number one, being grateful. I always want to start the day off with being grateful and giving thanks for, you know, for everything that I have for my business. The next one is stretch and work out, and really be able to start my day off right. Number two is write a to-do list. And so that's kind of keeps me focused on the day. You have goals, but if you're not doing the daily things, you're not going to get to them. So I want to make sure that I'm doing the daily things in my business that will get me to the next level. Number four is read, and I'm always learning.
Love it.
So I'm always listening to podcasts, reading books, attending live webinars, whatever that may be. And number five is oh my goodness, this
It's
is
all good.
eat healthy.
Okay.
See, it's such a habit that I eat healthy every day that I actually forget about it
Yeah.
because it's like
It's
in my
intuitive.
subconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think about that anymore. I think I need to replace that with another habit because of that. So those are my five things that I do every single day that really put me on the right path to seeing increase and growth in my life.
Okay. So, as a coach, you're pretty much in a competitive market or business. There are so many health coaches out there. So, what do you believe are those things, those actions that you're doing right now that's separating yourself from, the busy market out there of all the other coaches?
I think what I'm doing is really pacing myself out and not getting burnout. And I feel like a lot of people do that in business of hustling, 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 but they don't have the consistency, so they drop off. You'll see someone, doing really well for a while, but then they'll lose that drive. They'll lose that motivation to keep going. And I think for me is I'm a very motivated person and, I have a lot of drive. So for me, being consistent is the number one thing that I concentrate on, and really being there for people and my clients, and just being consistent and not getting myself burnt out and taking on too much at
Yeah.
one time, like a lot of people do, to which actually hurts their business. So I think that's what I'm doing to, separate myself from the work ethics of other health coaches.
Cool. So, which of the characteristics would you accredit most to you really achieving your entrepreneurial greatness?
I think for me, I'm a very positive person. And so, you take these, character tests or, profile tests where they kind of tell you, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And for me, it's being positive. And I think that has really, catapulted my business because I don't let little things get me down. You could have one day where you get a negative comment from someone or on Facebook or a nasty email back to you, and your whole day's ruined and you get nothing done.
Yeah.
And that hurts a lot of people, and I don't want that to happen to me. So staying positive and surrounding myself with positive people and not letting the little things get me down.
Cool. So, what are those things that you're doing right now to, generate those leads and customers for yourself?
Well, for me, I do a lot of social media
Hmm.
promoting, but I also love webinars. I think for health coaches out there, I think live webinars is probably the best way because you need to be presenting the information and really giving valuable content. And sometimes that's hard to do with just, you know, just an email or just like an ebook, but having a live webinar that people can actually learn from you. But another thing, I know we're going to talk about this later, is I'm putting on an online summit. So basically, this is all about list growth and list building because the number one marketing tool nowadays is email marketing and growing your list. So I'm doing the things to mainly, social media is great, but the main thing that I try to do is get people on my list because that will convert way higher, especially if you have the right email marketing going out. We got Infusionsoft, so putting people through the buying process. And but once you get the lead, that's the main important thing. You have to get the lead to then convert. So
Yeah.
list growth is probably the number one thing.
And that's perfect. So to all our striving grinders out there, list building is absolutely important. Getting those, those leads in and really nurturing them. A problem that we did in the past was we built our email list up. We had free content and gifts and all that kind of stuff. And then we kind of just like dropped off. Like we got you in our email list and then we stopped, nurturing you and really taking care of you and adding value to you. So take that and run with it. if you're going to bring other people into your funnel and onto your email list, make sure that you're nurturing them day in and day out and adding extreme value to them. So, Amanda, we're wrapping it up right now. What advice would you give our striving grinders out there right now for really tapping into and unleashing their inner greatness?
I would say believing in yourself. Stop the doubt, stop the fears, and take action on what that dream is, what that goal is. And, unleashing your inner greatness is obviously finding out what your passion is, what your purpose is, but then doing it.
Yeah.
And you can't do it if you're so afraid of what other people are going to think about you. You're afraid of, if I'm going to fail, which, it comes across our minds, but we have to get rid of that idea of failing or what are people going to think about me. But taking action on that goal and believing in yourself that you can do anything you set your mind to. Nothing is impossible.
Great. So, Amanda, give us one action that we can take right now to get us closer to our dreams.
Getting closer to your dreams. I'm going to say something that I personally have done, and I think it's a great action to do, is coming up with a vision board. And that is, you could take like clips and articles or magazines and really just spending that hour or two and coming up with a board of all your dreams on it through pictures, through words, and maybe putting that up in your bedroom or your office or somewhere that you can see every single day so that you're focused on your dream, your goal, what you want to achieve. Because the more you see it, the more you think about it, the more you believe that it's actually can be a reality.
And that happens for us too. We have a vision board. We have those, images of those visuals that we care about, where we want to get to. And that's our reminder every single day. We see it every single morning. We sit here at this desk. So, we definitely agree with you there. So, Amanda, this is a question we ask all of our guests. What does strive and grind mean to you?
Well, I love this because I think my husband is a perfect example of strive and grind. He has a goal of becoming a professional golfer, and every day I get to see him, hit the range or go golf and really put in the practice and grind every single day. And, grinding to me is not just something you do that's when it's convenient, you do it every single day. Yeah. And that's, it becomes a part of who you are. And striving to make that goal happen, but also you have to put in the work and grind every single day, even when it's not convenient, even when you're tired, even when you say, oh, I've worked enough this week, it's Friday, I don't need to work anymore. But every single day putting in the work.
I love it, because I think for us, our main goal is to get people to understand, if you know that final destination that you want to end up, you can dream it all you want to, but if you're not putting in the work, you're not going to get there. So it's important to have both of those pieces to it. So you hit it right on the head there. So, Amanda, what can we expect from you next?
Well, Kevin, you are one of the speakers on my summit, and I can't wait for everyone to hear our interview. But what can you expect? You can actually sign up now for the summit. It launches September 14th, and basically 30 entrepreneurs share their secrets to their success, how to grow your personal, professional life, achieve your goals, and change the world. So I've been putting about 3 months of work, like 10-hour days into this to make it absolutely amazing, give so much value in content, and really equip entrepreneurs, on all sorts of topics that we need to know to see success in our business and professional life. So that is what you can expect from me next.
So, Amanda, I will vouch for you that you've been striving and grinding these past 3 months. So I can't wait to add that stuff to the show notes and get it out there to our audience. So we'll definitely be doing that. So look forward to it. Where can we learn more about you, Amanda, and what you're doing?
Well, you can check me out on thetruechallenge.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you can email me at amanda@thetruechallenge.com. Connect to me on social media. Anything you have questions on, just shoot me an email. But the main place would be the website, truechallenge.com.
Cool. And we'll have all your resources that you just talked about inside our show notes. Amanda, thank you so much for rocking with us today at Strive and Grind TV. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Love being here.
Love it. Love it. To all our Strive and Grinders out there, please comment below. Let us know what your thoughts was on this interview. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, keep striving, keep grinding.